Hello. Welcome to an adventure. Today has been an adventure already, just trying to get everything set up. You know, nothing terribly new, but we are live now. And how about we get started? Let me see here. Hello, Key Squared. Thank you so much for the 21-month free subscription. It is great to see you. Hannah, 26 months with the 25-month streak. Thank you very much and welcome. Elixir, got it. Mod update, have to lurk a bit and then should be here around 3-ish. Well, you know, it's around 3-ish now and I'm just getting going. So, it's all good. Hi, Fluid Ann. Hi, Shadows of Life. It is great to have you joining us. Ooh, this water bottle is very tightly closed. I was going to add to it. Let's do some talk about what are we looking at today? That seems like a good thing for us to get to, yes? Maybe. Okay. Let's go here and just cover the land acknowledgement and the labor recognition real quick before we look at what the collection is that we're going to be working with today. Virginia Tech acknowledges that we live and work on the Tudelo and Monacan people's homeland, and we recognize their continued relationships with their lands and waterways. We further acknowledge that the Morrill Land Grant College Act of 1862 enabled the Commonwealth of Virginia to finance and found Virginia Tech through the forced removal of Native nations from their lands in Western territories. We understand that honoring Native peoples without explicit material commitments falls short of our institutional responsibilities. Through sustained, transparent, and meaningful engagement with the Tudelo and Monacan peoples and other Native nations, we commit to changing the trajectory of Virginia Tech's history by increasing Indigenous student, staff, and faculty recruitment and retention, diversifying course offerings, and meeting the growing needs of all Virginia tribes and supporting their sovereignty. Virginia Tech acknowledges that its Blacksburg campus sits partly on land that was previously the site of the Smithfield and Solitude plantations, owned by members of the Preston family. Between the 1770s and the 1860s, the Prestons and other local white families that owned parcels of what became Virginia Tech also owned hundreds of enslaved people. We acknowledge that enslaved black people generated wealth that financed the predecessor institution to Virginia Tech, the Preston and Nolan Institute, and they also worked on construction of its buildings. Not until 1953, however, was the first black student permitted to enroll. Through inclusive VT, the institutional and individual commitment to prosim, that I may serve, in the spirit of community, diversity, and excellence, we commit to advancing a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive community. Okay. I just need to get the finding aid set here. I don't quite know why it's being silly today. I didn't really do anything different than last week. Hold, please. Yeah, let's not do that. Things are being extra weird and it's very strange, but I will have this for you in just 1 second here. Okay. Fingers crossed. Here goes. Huzzah! I mean, it's not the finding aid, but it's the site the finding aids live on. So that is a step in the right direction. There should be captions. Shadows of Life. I know I turned them on. Hold 1 second. I will check on that. Because they're going in the captioner. Whether they're actually making their way out to the channel itself, I don't know. Also, hello, Adventures of Tony. Huh? Hello, captions. What you doing? I have turned you on, but you ain't showing up on the stream. Hello, captions. What you doing? What's going on? Well, Of course I have technical difficulties, right? That is just typical, right? Typical. It's not a Twitch stream without technical difficulties. Okay, hang on 1 moment, please. Yeah. Hello, captioner. Okay, I have a preview where I can actually see that indeed you are correct. The captions are not apparently functioning. So let me attempt to restart that page. The browser popped up a little bit ago and said, hey, do you want me to pause tabs that are not active to save memory? And I said no. And I now wonder if it paused that tab, even though it was turned on. I don't know for sure, but hey, look, captions. This leads me to wonder, are the captions actually on the other channel? Let me check. Hang on 1 second. But we will get into this collection here very, very shortly. Hey, yes they are. Okay, good. Captions, currently now functional on both channels. Thank you for alerting me to that issue. Captions are a go. Okay. I'm gonna go find the finding aid, which I have not pre-prepared today. What are we looking at? The Hauser Institute of New York City collection. When I saw it, it was just interesting. So the materials in this collection are in English. Hey, that's good for me. That wasn't the line I was hoping to read, but it's the one I read. This collection contains booklets and broadsides related to the Hauser Institute of New York City, conducted by food scientist Bengamin Gaylord Hauser. They contain pseudoscientific instructions related to health and nutrition. And I believe I described it as flummery in the promotional descriptions of this. Flummery, not in the essentially oatmeal sense, but rather in the nonsense sense. So as you can see here, Bengamin Gaylord Hauser was born in Tübingen. I'm not 100% certain how to pronounce Tübingen, Germany in 1895. He immigrated to the United States to join his brother, Reverend Otto Hauser. As a young man, he developed tuberculosis of the hip and underwent several medical procedures. But Hauser felt that he owed his progress to a doctor who recommended natural remedies. Hauser traveled to Vienna, Zurich, Dresden, and Copenhagen to learn about food science, and upon his return in 1923, opened an office in Chicago and began teaching about curative powers of food. He wrote over a dozen books on health and nutrition and promoted his restorative diets through talks and radio shows. While he gained a following among some celebrities in the early to mid-20th century, he drew criticism from the medical community who considered his teachings to be quackery. Hauser died in North Hollywood, California in 1984. So this collection has booklets and broadsides from this institute. Basically, we get to see what he was saying was good. You need a natural remedy from your kitchen? Understood, understood. Okay. So this collection, that is the whole thing. Oh, you know, it would help if I actually... Indeed. Thank you, Kira. Thank you, Elixir. This is not a medical advice stream. Please do not take anything that we share on this stream as medical advice. If you are seeking actual dietary advice, well, there are nutritionists for that. These are archival materials, and in fact, the ones we're looking at today, the medical community of the day said, hey, what's with all this quackery? So, this is not a place to receive medical advice, other than the advice, do not take medical advice from a Twitch stream. So yeah, this is the whole collection. It's a relatively small one. Yeah, we probably also need historical terms. Historical terms. Not just potentially offensive terms, but also really outdated terms like flummery and quackery. That are actually fun to use. But yes, historical terms in the, oh my, there might be some content sense. So first off, we have whatever this folder is. I think it says chemical analysis of types and temperaments with key to foods. Oh, Chemicanalysis. I was close. Of course, the finding aid is listed there. We will likely not get to everything, so if there is one that sounds particularly interesting to you, do let me know in the chat, and I will make sure that we look at it. Ooh, a donut. Indeed, a natural food. I hope it came from the donut tree. Chemicanalysis of types and temperaments with key to foods. And there you can see the illustration of Bengamin Gaylord Hauser in his lab. Published by the Hauser Institute Incorporated, Empire Trust Building, New York City. The price was $5. Choco Glaze, nice. Copyright 1929. Published by the New School Publishers. Oh, I'm gonna need a book weight. To my students in America, teaching people what to eat and how to eat for the last 4 years has been a tremendous task. However, looking over the thousands of letters from grateful students who have learned how to help themselves is more than gratifying and a sure proof that it has been worthwhile. When I created my Chemical Man, it was my object to convey to my students the fact that each and every human being is a chemical laboratory, a chemical man. This course on Chemicanalysis was arranged so that all those who wish to make a study of this fascinating new science will know just what chemicals go into the human body. The first authorities and originators of the science of chemical types and temperaments, Dr. V.G. and Emily H. Rosine, have done a great work for humanity when they gave this added key to the world. It is hoped that soon Chemicanalysis will be taught everywhere, as it gives man the key to the most important thing in this life, the key to his body temple. Bengamin Gaylord Hauser. Did you say particle man? Particle man, particle man. Sorry. Indeed, Chemical Man does sound like a superhero, or I mean, potentially supervillain, but you're right. The comic book heroes, if their name included man, it usually was a hero and not a villain. If their name included woman, it could go either way. But yeah, usually if their name was something man, then they would be a superhero rather than a villain. The Chemical Man itself is actually kind of interesting. We'll see an illustration of it. Oh, my body is a temple. Ancient ruins. Definitely haunted. That's grand. All right, so let's see what they have to say about how the mind, the soul, the spirit of man works through matter. Humanity expresses its individual character, disposition, talent, and state of being through the intake of chemical matter found in foods, air, and water. Certain human types and temperaments of people absorb certain chemicals. Okay, so now we're, this is sounding very eugenics-y with the classification of people into different types. Water has its own peculiar qualities, different from those of air or of the solid elements found in foods, organized earth. The earth yields certain elements to the growing plant, which has affinity for such chemical elements, and so the plant food represents the earth chemicals or mineral elements in organized form, organized sunshine, water, and air, each plant according to its nature. Organized sunshine. Does that mean you have ghost hunters in the ruins? Oh. Wait. They have not said anything about humors, but this is definitely after humors. As far as like historically speaking, I'm not sure if that's what you were meaning by that. But this is in the 1920s, so this is post-humors. Like attracts like. So apparently, we're not going with opposites attract here. The plant has its affinity for certain chemicals found in the earth and attracts those elements, forming itself into a particular type of plant, having its own size, shape, color, density. For example, the strawberry is an iron plant, which draws from the soil the iron so necessary for its existence. Or the celery plant, drawing to itself and metabolizing into its cells sodium and other elements found in the soil, and storing these elements. These plants and berries of organized chemicals are in turn utilized by the life forces in man to draw into his cells and tissues that for which he, as a type man, has affinity. I'm sorry, what? Draw into his cells and tissues that for which he, as a type man, has affinity. I need some definition of terms here, please. So man also attracts to himself and builds into his tissues the chemical elements from the food he eats according to his demand. I like my sunshine in the shade. I like my sunshine very disorganized. Thank you very much. Okay, the 11 chemicals which create the 11 types. Okay, so in discussing humors, there were 5 humors, right? And they had people had different types based on the humors. Humorism. The humoral theory, or humoralism, adopted by ancient Greek and Roman physicians and philosophers. So, wow, that's actually older than I thought it was. But the humors themselves were, there were 4 humors, sorry. Blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. And the people who have red blood are friendly. The people who have yellow bile are bitter. The people who were composed of black bile are lazy, fearful, and sickly. And those who are phlegmatic are low-spirited, forgetful, and have white hair. Time to tell you our mineral zodiac? Kind of. So that was the humoral system. This, instead of 4 categories, we've got 11. So let's see what this is all about. Hi, Chi Squared. Before going into the chemicanalysis of the 11 types of people, it is necessary that the student know something of the action and reaction of these chemicals. You will see just what to expect of the types that have any one of the 11 chemicals in the lead. You will see that the calcium type is a slow, enduring, steady type because the chemical calcium, of which they have a great abundance, makes them so. See for yourself what these 11 chemicals are and do, and you will be able to understand chemicanalysis. Calcium. Between 4 and 5 pounds of calcium enter into the human body. It combines with other chemicals in the body in the structure of bones and teeth. These structures are the most enduring part of man. If the calcium supply is deficient, the bones and teeth are defective, and this results in nutritional defects and chronic diseases. The action of calcium upon the vital functions in the body is very important. It works upon food and helps to liberate the vital principles, or vitamins, so they may be extracted and utilized. It assists all metabolic functions to be performed efficiently. I love that we actually get a mention of vitamins here. That kind of actually surprises me. I do feel like I need to have some sort of message on screen that says, hey, don't take medical advice from this stream. Because don't take medical advice from this stream. This document is from the 1920s. Don't believe anything it says. consult an actual doctor, specifically a nutritionist, if you're seeking advice on nutrition. I could add a thing. It wouldn't be, I say I could add a thing, and I begin to say it wouldn't be too difficult. It wouldn't take too long. And yet, one might be surprised at just how long it can take to add a piece of text on the fly. I'm going to try, though. Yikes. Caps lock is on. Oh, wow. From this strem. These are historical documents filled with medical information that was dubious even in their own time. Let us see if I say that. Oh boy. That's really big. Wow. It's silly. I'm silly. Why did I do this? I am silly. Oh no. You all can't see it yet, which is good, because it's so far somewhat of a disaster. Okay. Oh, come on. It's not that hard. Are you kidding me? I have to do that. Oh, didn't I say? I think I said, how hard could it be? Famous last words, right? Aha, that's better. And line spacing at well, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to hit save, and you're going to see what I did. Now there's a disclaimer on the screen permanently. Also, wow, adding text to files is hard. They are very tiny. Hi, Puddle Glum, welcome. Wow, yeah, mobile Twitch has a lag. It works upon food and helps to liberate the vital principles. Oh, lol. I haven't seen phrases like that since undergrad when you did a lot of history of science stuff. Yes, so we are looking at dubious nutritional advice from the 1920s. I did say how hard could it be out loud on stream. Honestly, if I was able to run things just on OBS, it would have been so much easier and would have taken half the time. But yeah, actually, we're going to look at Potassium Man next. So let's find out about Potassium Man. Incidentally, probably best to keep Potassium Man away from water. Potassium is a strongly alkaline element and powerfully neutralizing. It is cooling and antiseptic. When it is found in the body in normal amount, it means that oxygen is present and active, resulting in normal growth in tissues and greater blood alkalinity. And it means a more efficient muscular dynamo. It gives to the body greater healing power and also resistance. And it attracts all the other elements in more normal proportions. For this reason, the potassium man is always more healthy. Yes, we've definitely had some they might be giants feelings today, Puddle Glum. Collecting weapons from Mega Man. I could see that too. Let's see what is next, because there are 11 types, and we should know them if we're gonna explore the stuff in this collection. Phosphorus Man. Actually, I guess Phosphorus Man is the one that you should keep away from water. Potassium's probably okay in water. Phosphorus, definitely not great with water. Phosphorus improves the nutrition of nervous tissue and helps to make the bones more dense. Well, I'm glad that they're healing the nervous tissue. Hopefully it will be less nervous going forward. It acts upon the sensory nerves and upon the sympathetic system throughout. Also, upon the nerves throughout, especially those nerves that make the heart function. Phosphorus is necessary for higher intellectual activity, for the religious and psychic emotions, as well as for the physical senses, especially those of taste and touch. Phosphorus and sulfur in food form in combination at each meal. Vitalize the brain and nerves. When there is a lack of phosphorus in the bones of the body, the bones become soft and gelatinous instead of hard and elastic, as healthy bones should be. You know, I've never met somebody with soft and gelatinous bones. Yeah, none of the alkaline metals are great with water. I mean, Elixir, you definitely don't see a running gag if you don't have enough phosphorus in your bones. Because then you wouldn't be able to run. Your bones would be soft and gelatinous, apparently. That is true, Key Squared. If you soak chicken bones in vinegar for long enough, they do become quite pliable, and you can bend them without breaking them. I know this because my elder brother did that as a science fair experiment when we were kids. Sodium acts favorably upon the blood and all the secretions of the body, upon the mucus and serous membranes of the throat, the alimentary canal, the stomach and intestinal walls, upon the spleen and the pancreas. It holds calcium, albumin, and fibrin in solution. Therefore, sodium has everything to do with healthy normal digestion and assimilation. Okay, so reduce your sodium intake if you do not want to be assimilated by the Borg. Of that listing, the one word that I am not previously familiar with is fibrin. So I'm curious, what is fibrin? Where there is lack of sodium, there is sure to be indigestion in some form. Also, rheumatism, stiff joints, and one kind of arthritis. The solvent action of sodium helps to remove catarrhal pus, bronchial phlegm. It stimulates the walls of the stomach and intestines. So yeah, all of the anatomical terminology in that paragraph I'm familiar with, except fibrin. They're usually shaped like cubes. You can fit inside one gelatinous cube. Oh dear. Bones plus apple cider vinegar plus aromatics equals broth. Oh, thank you, Shadows of Light. Fibrin is a fibrous, non-globular protein involved in the clotting of blood. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's one I wasn't familiar with. Like, I've heard of alimentary canal. I've heard of serous membranes. I've heard of the spleen and the pancreas. Catarrhal pus makes sense. I understand those terms. Bronchial phlegm. I understand those terms. But like rheumatism, I know what that is. But I had never heard of fibrin before. So it's clear he's an educated person and knows about anatomy and knows about stuff. Like in the introduction, like we learned a little bit about him and his studies. So it comes off as, well, okay, he's a learned person, maybe he knows, but also at the same time, it does not come off as, it comes off more like reading your horoscope than actual scientific nutritional advice. Chlorine. Chlorine? Would this be the same as chlorine? Is this just chlorine and just missing the E? Chlorine is a great purifying agent. It has a beneficial effect upon the blood when eaten in food form. I hope it's not chlorine. By means of, you do not eat chlorine. That is medical advice you can take from this stream. Do not eat chlorine. By means of moisture, which it attracts from the tissues and fluids in the body. It carries off germs and impurities. Hence, it is important to cell purification. In normal quantities, it increases the warmth in the stomach and bowels by increasing peristaltic movement in those organs and by liberating internal heat from the muscles, for chlorine acts strongly upon the muscular system. Yes, please do not eat chlorine. I must now find out what chlorine is. In organic chemistry, which that is what this would be, chlorines are tetrapyryl pigments that are partially hydrogenated porphins. The parent chlorine is an unstable compound which undergoes air oxidation to porphine. The name chlorine derives from chlorophyll. Chlorophylls are magnesium-containing chlorines and occur as photosynthetic pigments in chloroplasts. The term chlorine, strictly speaking, refers to only compounds with the same ring oxidation state as chlorophyll. So I'm guessing this was meant to be a chemical term for eating a lot of plants. Liberating internal heat. Oh wait, are we going to learn about phlogiston next? I don't know where it's going. I suppose phlogiston is possible. The silicon man exerts a powerful influence upon the nervous system and the brain. Also, can bend metal rods that normal humans can't, and can do computations much quicker because of his positronic net. It acts as a neural stimulant. Nerves possess greater cell action and power to transmit nerve impulses when silicon is present in normal amount. It establishes in the human system greater resistance to disease. The child in whom this element is well supplied becomes immune from contagious diseases. It makes muscles firmer, blood warmer, hair more luxuriant and glossy. Okay, I'm just gonna point to the upper that side of the screen over there. I forgot. But please do not take medical advice from this stream. These are historical documents filled with medical information that was dubious even in their own time. Silicone man shakes your hand with a silicone hand. Thank you, Puddle Glove. These are all words, yes. The sentence here, the child in whom this element is well supplied becomes immune from contagious diseases. I have to wonder if some of the anti-vaccination movement that exists today ties back to this claim that, if your child just has a sufficient diet of silicone amongst all the natural things they're eating, then they will be completely immune to contagious disease, and therefore you wouldn't want to give them vaccination. I just have to wonder if, it's stuff like this where that started. I'd be curious to see how it ties back, because I'm sure this is somewhere in the history of that. Silicone does come in chips. And, if you were feeding a silicone man, then ensuring that their diet had plenty of silicone in it probably would make sense. Fresh cut grass. I guess fresh cut grass is more metal than silicone. But data for sure. If Data ate, it would be silicone chips for sure. Oxygen. I'm slightly confused about getting oxygen in your diet. Oxygen enters into the body tissue to the extent of about 89 pounds to an individual weighing 160 pounds. It stimulates the muscular system. It increases circulation and life processes. It arouses the mind to greater mental activity. It acts as a dynamo on mind and body alike and intensifies life. Oxygen, plentiful and active, means more life, joy, pleasure, optimism, enthusiasm. It is the life and light of human existence, the fountain of youth. Ooh, thank you, Puddleglum. According to WebMD, which, just gonna say here, if you do go to the internet to look up medical things and you discover on WebMD that your symptoms match 27 different illnesses, please remember, do not take medical advice from the internet. Consult an actual physician. According to WebMD, silicon is a natural occurring mineral. It's the second most abundant element on Earth after oxygen. Food sources include water, fruits, and vegetables. Silicon supplements are sometimes used as medicine. It's not clear if silicon has a function in the human body, but there's some evidence it might have a role in forming bone and collagen. Yeah, these are definitely dietary minerals. I'm curious about how oxygen is a dietary mineral. Do we get oxygen in mineral form in our food? I always just assumed we got oxygen through breathing. Also, from WebMD about silicon, people use silicon for weak bones, osteoporosis, aging skin, and many other conditions, but there's no good scientific evidence to support most of these uses. Do not confuse silicon with silicone. Silicone is a group of materials resembling plastic that are used to make medical devices. Here we are with the chlorine versus chlorine again. This is silicon versus silicone. This one without the E. Thank you, Puddle Glove. That actually clarified a lot, because I was unclear that we were not talking about the one with the E on the end. Let's see. So, yeah, oxygen's apparently the fountain of youth. Nitrogen is a restraining element. It acts against the destructive action of oxygen as a brake. Nitrogen alone is sluggish and weakens stronger elements. Nitrogen does not readily associate itself with the other 15 elements of the body. Wait, I thought there were 11 types. What are the other 4 elements? But it clings to the oxygen in the air and dilutes it. Without nitrogen, life would cease. Of the air we breathe, 4 out of 5 parts are nitrogen. Nitrogen acts as a powerful vitalizer and tissue builder, and has great solvent power on body metals, enabling the system to attract and vitalize their pigments and magnetic qualities. Consequently, the nitrogen people possess personal magnetism. Oh, I was just beginning to wonder if we were going to continue pretending that we're talking about different types of people, considering the description of oxygen really didn't say anything about what kind of person has a lot of oxygen in their body. I thought we were talking about phenotypes. Yeah, phenotypes based on chemical composition of the body. I thought that's what was supposed to be happening, but this is more about the minerals themselves, the chemicals themselves, than about any phenotypic. Yeah. Carbon lessens bodily resistance and makes one in whom it is excessive feel weak all of the time. You know, that must be it. That must be why I feel weak all the time. There's too much carbon in my carbon-based life form. It enters into all types of people, but strongly vital, fleshy people utilize more carbon. The greater the consumption of carbon, the greater the need of oxygen. For a low supply of oxygen and a greater carbon supply results in low heat production, which again results in weak and flabby muscles. Carbon has poor affinity for oxygen. Muscles crave sugar, carbon, for heat and energy, but oxygen must be present to burn up the carbon and produce more muscle energy, else there is lethargy and weakness, which is usually the case when there is a strong intake of carbonaceous foods. You know, for once I think there's actual factual content here. Carbon, necessary for life. And oxygen must be present. So yes, carbon and oxygen, both necessary for life. There was mention of Iron Man, but I don't think we've had a description of Iron Man yet. Calcium Man, Potassium Man, Phosphorus Man, Sodium Man, Chlorine Man, Silicon Man, Oxygen Man, Nitrogen Man, and now we're on Carbon Man. So no Iron Man yet. But I do take the joke. Please don't eat coal. Honestly, if you want carbon in your diet, eat food. If you eat food, you'll have carbon in your diet. Hydrogen. Do not eat hydrogen fuel cells, please. Hydrogen. Too much or too little hydrogen in the human system prevents a normal condition of the body. That man who utilizes too much moisture in tissues becomes weak and sick. Moisture in abundance increases the action of the sweat glands and the function of the taste buds. It helps to regulate the tension of the gases in the blood. Water or hydrogen is needed in every blood drop, every cell of nerve or bone. Too much water in the body disturbs functional activity of tissue and may result in dropsy. It is possible to overdose on water. You can literally get water poisoning and kill yourself from drinking too much water too quickly. That is a thing. But I don't, yeah. H2O, necessary. Okay, dropsy, I had to look up. I'm familiar with it as a, this is a thing that they used to talk about people having. and shows up in like movies and such that are set long time ago. It is an old-fashioned or less technical term for edema. And edema, if you're uncertain, is a condition characterized by an excess of watery fluid collecting in the cavities or tissues of the body. Simply drinking a lot of water will not cause edema. There would need to be some other underlying cause, though do not take medical advice from this stream. But if you feel that you have edema and you suspect you've been drinking too much water, causing that edema, consult a medical professional and they can let you know. And there's Puddleglum saying, we tend to call it edema now. Yeah. Bad old nutrition book. The carbon isn't burned, it's converted to CO2 and H2O in oxidation reactions. Yes, thank you, Puddleglum. Future archaeologists are going to find this book and think we ate raw minerals. I'd be curious whether any of his followers did. Sulfur. Please do not go to volcanoes to harvest sulfur for the consumption of sulfur. If you want sulfuric foods, they exist. I know they exist. I can't, off the top of my head, think of what foods are specifically high in sulfur. I think possibly chicken eggs are, but I'm not 100% certain. Continue to not take medical advice from this stream. Sulfur, being a volcanic element, compels the cells to throw off toxic substances. It agitates every cell in the body slowly and cumulatively. It compels the expulsion of disease intruders. When normally supplied, it is a producer of youth and beauty, and the complexion is always delicate and rosy. The hair being luxuriant, 4% of sulfur is found in hair, and light hair has more sulfur than dark hair. Red hair has more sulfur than sandy hair. Oh gosh, now we're getting into the hair color science, pseudoscience again. We encountered hair color pseudoscience when we had our stream with the Ladies' Home Journal. Black hair has the least proportion of sulfur. Sulfur intensifies nerve life, and a normal supply of sulfur is necessary to maintain a uniform temperature in the sexual nerves and plexuses, in the spinal reflexes, in the nerves of liver and kidneys, in the optic centers, and the nervous system throughout. An excess or a lack of sulfur defeats nature. What the heck does that last sentence even mean? Right? Like, what does that sentence even mean? How about pink hair? What about the little blue-haired ladies in their big black Oldsmobiles? No, but like hair color-based classification systems for humans are invariably racist, and they invariably rank pale or red hair as being superior to black hair. Oh, that was it. We don't have an Iron Man. Which is funny because iron was specifically mentioned earlier about like strawberries being iron fruits. I'm sure the Baconian philosophers are having a field day about defeating nature. Massive oversight in this book, even without the Marvel references. I mean, it's the 1920s. Superhero comic books already exist. I don't know when Iron Man was started as a comic. I'm guessing not as early as the 1920s, but body types and head shapes that indicate a positive or a negative nature. Yay, let's invent more ways to discriminate against people. The body either grows tall and slender, or else it grows short, broad, and bulky. One either has long legs and arms, relatively speaking, in which case the torso is short, high-waisted, and slender, or else the legs and arms are short and relatively heavy, while the torso is large, long from neck to hips, and low-waisted. Okay, so you're either a human or a Tyrannosaurus Rex, is what I read there. Sorry. Legs and arms are short and relatively heavy, while the torso is large, long from neck to hips, and low-waisted. That sounds like a Tyrannosaurus Rex to me. Was anemia not a known condition? It had to be. I don't know. This is what general informational internet searches are for. Iron deficiency anemia was discovered in 1852 by Carl Vierord and his student H. Welcher. Iron Man was invented in 1963. Yes, so iron deficiency was known in 1852. And I believe diabetes had been discovered by the 1920s as well. Yeah. Insulin might not have been, but diabetes was well known. Because diabetes was first identified in the 2nd century. Yes, we did a whole stream on nutrition for diabetes and its history. I couldn't remember the date off the top of my head, but yeah, insulin was discovered in the 20s. But yeah, diabetes itself, 2nd century, is when it was described. It was known before then. But so, unsurprisingly, the tall, slender type is the positive type. Usually has a head. Oh, now we're getting into phrenology. Usually has a head high in the crown, directly upon a line with the ears, where is located the power of will. The tall body, long arms and legs, and short-waisted body indicate positiveness in body build, while the high head in the will region of the brain indicates the mentally positive, aggressive, and hardworking type. The short, heavy, stocky-built man indicates negativeness in body build. While if the head slopes in the crown, or is lower there than the head is in the front part of the temple, above the temples, then he has a negative will and lacks aggressiveness and self-confidence. I'm reading alpha male and beta male would be how they would be described by people today. Unfortunately so, but essentially the same delineation, although this is tying it to body build to delineate the two, but aggressive, hardworking, smart, lacks aggressiveness, lacks self-confidence, short, stocky. Those sound like descriptions that people would use for their descriptions of like alpha and beta today. And yeah, I feel gross. And there's the Protestant work ethic. The two types of body build and head shape belong to opposite types of people in character, disposition, talent, and they may belong to any one of the 5 temperaments or of the chemical types of people described in this course. Oh, we get illustrations, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna go blurred. Here we have their illustrations of the positive body type and the negative body type. So, tall and thin versus shorter and stockier. Oh gosh, I can't remember the character's name. I don't know, the illustration for negative body type immediately made me think of the kid on King of the Hill. Stereotypically English versus stereotypically Irish. You're not wrong. Bobby, yeah. Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. Like, this illustration just screams Bobby Hill from King of the Hill to me. But yes, Puddleglum, I had not made that connection, but you are 100% right. It is a stereotypical English versus stereotypical Irish. This is almost like racism, only for physical body types. Indeed. So, outcurved face, high parietal head, tall, slender, and long-legged, versus incurved face. High anterior top head, short, stocky, short-legged body. And there's some overt racism in there too. Yeah. Oh, the 5 temperaments, foundation of the chemical types. In the body structure, there are represented 5 distinct anatomical and physiological systems as follows: bones, or the skeletal structure; muscles, or the muscular system; ligaments, or the system of tendons, ligaments, cartilage, and joints; nerves and brain, or nervous system; and vital organs, including all of the vital functions and organs. Certain chemicals are utilized especially in each one of these 5 systems, and it is from these that chemical types of people are developed as follows. In bone development, calcium is the chief chemical, and with this element are combined silicon, fluorine, that says fluorine, not fluorine. Whoa. They're introducing additional chemicals that were not types of people. With this element are combined silicon, fluorine, manganese, magnesium, and phosphates. The calcium and the silicon types develop from the bone temperament. These types have the angular face. The chemicals, oh my God, what? The chemicals that are at work to build and repair muscles, the muscular temperament, are potassium, chlorine, and others. Therefore, we have in the muscular temperament 2 chemical types, id est, the potassium, and the chlorine types, with oval faces. Ligaments are built and maintained mainly by the one element, sodium, helped by potassium and chlorine. This gives us the sodium type, representing the ligamentous temperament, who has the wide, triangular-shaped face. Nerves and brain are built, organized, and function through the chemical phosphorus chiefly, aided by sulfur and other chemical elements. Therefore, the mental temperament is represented by the 2 phosphorus chemical type, which has the pyriform-shaped face. What the heck is pyriform shape? And the sulfur chemical type, who has the pyriform oval shape of face. I hope that those will be explained, because no idea what pyriform even means. The vital temperament, we do get facial illustrations here. The vital temperament utilizes the vital chemical elements known as carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen. Therefore, these chemical types are vital in temperament, viz. Carbon type, nitrogen type, hydrogen type, oxygen type. All the vital types of people have circular faces, or square circular faces. Face shapes of the 5 temperaments. Oblong bone, calcium type and silicon type. Oval, muscular, potassium and chlorine. Nope, here it says chlorine. Potassium type and chlorine type. Because that would be the adjectival form of chlorin, would be chlorine. Not confusing in the least when talking about chemicals. Wide triangular, ligamentous and sodium type, circular vital, carbon type, nitrogen type, hydrogen type, oxygen type, and pyriform mental, phosphorus type, and sulfur type. So the pyriform type is like wide on top coming to a point. Is what I take from. This is just blah, 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 blah. Very confusing. Oh, are they trying to be more scientific than the four humors? Sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and phlegmatic? Yeah, we looked at the humors before we dived into the book. Waiting for them to tell us what our colors and seasons are so we know what clothes to wear. Thank you for the follow, Jade. I'm not certain how that is to be pronounced. I'm just going to go with Jade. Jade? Yeah, Jade. I don't know. And also Polar Season. Thank you for the follow and the posture check. Polar Season I got. The other one I'm not sure how to parse. Jade. Yeah, no idea. Yeah, and thanks for the hydrate as well. This has been a very interesting item from the collection. I'm gonna move actually to another one though, because oh, thank you for the break time redeem. We don't have time to do a break though. We're only on for another half hour, so I appreciate it though. Oh, a stretch also? I will. Thanks for the... This person is stealing my words. Oh, yeah. All the self-cares. Very good. You're waiting for your compatible type. All right, let's see. The Eliminative Feeding System. This is one of the things that the Hauser Institute was famous for. This is essentially one of the early fad diets. So, originated and taught by Bengamin Gaylord Hauser. Hauser Institute Incorporated, Empire Trust Building, New York City. Price $3. Now you can rejuvenate in your own kitchen. It sounds like an infomercial. If there had been television, he definitely would have had infomercials. Also, I should look, copyright 1929. So, yes. I mean, Hauser was a mover and shaker in Hollywood and got celebrities to follow his diet. You still think the book prices are outrageous? Now you can rejuvenate in your own kitchen. For many years, I have been working on a plan whereby I might actually demonstrate to my students the close relationship between the body and the foods we eat. A few weeks before sailing for Europe this year, I was teaching a class in food chemistry when an inspiration came to me regarding this plan. In my mind's eye, I saw a mass of test tubes and chemical apparati merging into a shape resembling the human body. These tubes were filled with the 16 chemicals of which the body is composed, and my mind pictured a mechanism functioning in perfect order, quite similar to those intricate apparati which we use in Vienna in making tests of foods. I have always believed and taught that the human body was a chemical laboratory, but I had never conceived the possibility of reconstructing the body in terms of glass, rubber tubing, and chemicals. Sorry, I felt that was appropriate at that moment. His chemical man, indeed. Yes. Chemical man, living his life with a new nutrition plan. This is a sci-fi movie plot start. Seems like the Gwyneth Paltrow idea of health. I'm not super familiar with hers, but I will take your word for it. I know that she's supposed by the media to have some pretty unusual beliefs. Yes, 100% mad science vibes. Incidentally, the image here is his chemical man. The mess of glass tubes and retorts attached to a board that has a head cut out of it, with a pile of cruciferous vegetables around its base. I guess nutritional science had to start somewhere. I feel like I watched this episode of MST3K. Quite possibly. 4 weeks later, I found myself in a sorry. I stumbled because I say laboratory, but when I was approaching the maniacal laughter, laboratory seemed more appropriate. But I think we've backed off from the maniacal laughter. So 4 weeks later, I found myself in a laboratory in Vienna, where with the help of my coworkers there, we were engaged in assembling intricate masses of glass tubing into the semblance of the human body. The most important part of my chemical man was his laboratory. Oh yeah, we've definitely moved towards mad science again. The stomach and intestines, where the food is digested and assimilated by the board. Sorry. I can't not with that word. Plus, I have to have some humor. Some gold or silver age comic for sure. He is quite close to the veggies. Where, and intestines, where the food is digested and assimilated. When you see this chemical man, you will be attracted first to his glass stomach, in which the process of digestion is perfectly demonstrated. Here, you can actually observe the different reactions which the stomach juices have upon harmonious and inharmonious food combinations. I should be afraid to put into my glass man some of the food combinations human beings willfully put into their stomachs. I am sure he would blow up. Probably because he's made out of glass and not something more elastic like flesh. Please don't make a chemical man out of flesh. That sounds horrifying. You always say laboratory. News of my chemical man spread fast, and upon my return from Europe, while still aboard the steamer Franconia, I found myself surrounded by press reporters and cameramen anxious for news and a glimpse of my curious glass man. which by this time legend had endowed with a brain and bowels that actually functioned. At least one would think that from the myriad of questions which were fired at me regarding the actions of my brainchild, a well-known moving picture company I ended up in a drone there, sorry. A well-known moving picture company wanted to make talking pictures of us, and telegraph wires flashed photographs to many newspapers in America. This proved to me that the people of America were interested in something new and constructive regarding their own bodies. The chemical man demonstrated to us many proven theories regarding foods and feeding. It shows you that all the good food you eat can do you no good until your stomach is first cleansed of excess acids and mucus. It has been proven that the poisons in the intestines are reabsorbed and become one of the main features in causing old age and diseases. By eating an abundance of the basic alkaline-forming foods, as listed and outlined in the Eliminative Feeding System, you will wash away unnatural conditions, and the way will be paved for the assimilation of the good foods you will eat. Disease and premature old age are due to foreign matter and retained body wastes. The following will illustrate this point. Dr. Carroll of the Research Department of the Rockefeller Institute took a portion of the heart of a chicken and put this into a nourishing solution containing the necessary heart salts. The wastes were removed daily and the solution kept clean. Today, after 20 years, the cells of that heart tissue are still alive and virile as ever. By continuing the daily flushing and cleansing process, this piece of tissue will live indefinitely. By applying this same principle of flushing and cleansing, you can keep your body clean and young. He's just so close with those veggies. Sorry. Oh no, I always let's see. I think I've seen that anime. It didn't go well. It costs an arm and a leg. Gut health is important, but that's about the only accurate thing I've heard so far today. He's right about nutritional food being good for you. He just veers off into the forest when he starts talking personalities and zombie chicken hearts. It's that whole section that we just read was making me think of the soulless minions of orthodoxy. That episode of Deep Space Nine, I think that was the Great Material Continuum. The Great Material Continuum episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This, just so much of this reminds me of the guy that was afraid of the soulless minions of orthodoxy and had the machine that was supposed to stimulate the cells so that they didn't get bored, causing you to die. This feels like the same sort of thing. It is my object to teach the American people how to be young, happy, and healthy. There is no better way to achieve all these things than through my system of elimination. The yearly house cleaning of the body is the keystone of this system. And why shouldn't it be? You clean and reconstruct everything else each year. Your homes, your automobiles, and any other machinery you have are given constant attention. You are too sensible to let them fall to pieces. You know that with a little care they will give you better service. And yet your own body temple is often allowed to fall into a dreadful state of old age and misery. As soon as you will apply the yearly house cleaning idea to your own body, you will stop being sick and old. It is much easier to remove the poisons of 1 year than an accumulation of 57 varieties, which have collected a period of many years, or collected throughout a period of many years. I have to wonder. I have to wonder if that is a direct attack at the Heinz company and the Heinz family. So wait, is he trying to be healthy or trying to be immortal? Yes. Don't let fresh cut grass read this book. Eat rocks, live forever. Got it. Sorry, just it is much easier to remove the poisons of 1 year than an accumulation of 57 varieties, which have collected throughout a period of many years. I can't help but think that has to be an attack on the Heinz family somehow. And because they existed and they had the 57 thing by this time. I don't trust this author's medical advice, but they're making me want pickles. Well, and we definitely saw the Heinz logo with the 57 on a pickle when we were talking about the electric cars in the 1920s. And they would have been active in New York. Yeah, 57 varieties. That's a directly targeted attack at Heinz because 57 varieties was literally their advertising slogan. Just an FYI, it's 4:15 and we're getting close to end of stream. I do need to step away from chat for a couple of minutes, but we'll be back ASAP. Hey, thanks for the heads up, Elixir. I wonder if I still have my old 57 pickle pin. Amazing. No, what was this guy's connection to the Heinz family and to the Heinz company? Because that, in the intro to his eliminative diet thing, he directly attacks them by referencing 57 varieties. So much drama. I am so curious. The best time to eliminate is in the spring. Springtime is springtime is youth time. And everything becomes radiant and beautiful. Unless they have hay fever. I'm skimming right now. It is well to remember that hothouse vegetables are not as good as those grown in nature's garden. The sunshine fruits, or citrus fruits like oranges, limes, lemons, and grapefruit, can be obtained at any time of the year. Also, citrus fruits would also include kumquats. I don't see those on that list, but there are actually a lot of citrus fruits beyond what's listed here. A few years ago, many authorities opposed my views and refused to believe in the healthful properties of acid fruit. Today, even Dr. Laurent of Carlsbad fame endorses the use of acid fruits to keep the intestines sweet and to help prevent old age. Creative intelligence has supplied us with the natural material necessary for us to rejuvenate in our own kitchens. Sooner or later, you will all realize that life, health, and youth can be had by all who are willing to come to nature for their source. I hope that all my old students, and especially you new ones, will follow my feeding system to the letter. And though the splendid results will join the large army of my boosters who believe that life, health, and youth are gained by application of the life principle in food and thought. Sincerely yours, Bengamin Gaylord Hauser. Sorry, it again started to feel a bit culty. I agree, Hannah. Which is why, like, since the beginning of that paragraph, sooner or later, you will all realize, felt very maniacal to me. So I decided to go with it. All right. Cleansing the temple. When God created man in his own image, man was a superior, healthy being, vibrating with all of the strong elements of the universe. In the scriptures, we read of people who lived to be several hundreds of years old, and we wonder how this could be. But when we understand chemistry and know that man's physical body is taken from Mother Earth and was originally composed of 84 of the highest life-giving chemicals, we no longer wonder. Through wrong living, man has lost most of the 84 chemicals, and today we find that most of us have only 16 chemicals in our bodies. Is it any wonder that so many of us are sick and unhappy? It is a recognized fact that life, health, and happiness depend upon the chemistry of the bloodstream, and that all disease is caused by lack of one or more of the 16 chemicals. If there had been created a tree of life whose fruit contained all of these life-giving chemicals, health and happiness would be a simple matter. No such food has been provided, but nature, whose very breath is health, which has given to us an abundance of chemicals in the fruits, the highest of the life-giving foods, and in a lower form in vegetables. By eating an abundance of the higher foods so freely provided by nature, you will acquire all of the necessary chemicals, and in this pleasant and only natural way will your bloodstream become clean, health-producing, and alkalinized. Such a bloodstream, chemicalized through correct eating, constantly circulating through every cell in the body, will carry away all poisons and unnatural deposits. No dis-ease can exist in a chemicalized bloodstream. He sounds like he wants everyone to become mythical beings, or mythical creatures, / humanoids. I kind of, yeah. Eliminate all disease by cleansing the bloodstream. Cleansing process called the period of elimination. Live on number 6 foods whose chemical constituents have the power of breaking down and dissolving the waste matter in the entire body. By following the elimination outline conscientiously, you will get rid of a pound of waste, disease, a day. Again, don't take health information, don't take medical advice from questionable diet books from the 1920s. Meaning, don't take them from this stream, or don't take it from this stream. Thin and emaciated people usually become alarmed over the loss of 5 pounds of weight, but the weight that is lost through the eliminating system is all waste matter, rank poison, and not 1 ounce of healthy tissue. I don't know, Shadows of Life, why he's writing disease with a hyphen. The fact that they are thin is proof that a mucus-clogged system prevents proper assimilation of food. As soon as the body is clean, you will stop losing. During the period of elimination, you may experience such symptoms as dizziness, weakness, headaches, and other pains. I wonder why. Some of these pains have been suppressed for years, and these may appear, but they are passing symptoms. So he's saying that the pain you feel from not eating enough is not pain caused by not eating enough. It's that your body is eliminating the toxins, and so you're starting to feel the pain that has been there all along. That was just hidden by the fact that these toxins were preventing you from being able to notice it. Some schools call these repair spells a crisis, etc. Pay no attention to these symptoms, as the whole system is undergoing a natural state of repair and has to adjust itself to the natural way of reconstruction. This system of elimination has never failed when followed conscientiously. Now, I will say that under the proper care, fasting can have health benefits. Can have, depending on your medical needs and under supervision. With this new way of elimination, we do not deal with names. There is only one physical dis-ease: congestion. A congested appendix will cause appendicitis. Congested kidneys may cause rheumatism. A congested stomach and brain will cause headache. Congested bronchial tubes will cause asthma, etc. This congestion always manifests itself in your weakest spot. Instead of treating dis-ease as the old school does, the new school removes the cause, eliminating from the bloodstream those poisons which are causing the congestion, cleansing the entire body through the bloodstream, thereby creating a vital, positive body wherein no dis-ease can exist. It's like he doesn't know what the kidneys and liver are supposed to do. Agreed. Those side effects toward the end of the page just sound like not getting proper nutrition. Indeed, yes. The student should remember that in order to have permanent good health, it is necessary that not only the intestinal tract must be cleansed, but every individual cell in the body must be cleansed and cell toxins eliminated. Chemical Man is a villain now. Yeah, this feels very much like this could have been the inspiration for that Deep Space Nine episode. All right, let's see. Health is natural, disease is unnatural. Okay. Building health, springtime is house cleaning time. What are the best eliminating foods? Wait, Florinic Man is a villain with the Thing Man name structure. Oh! You've been trying to remember him all stream? Thank you, I've never heard of Florinic Man. Yes, also, buy my other books. That's of vital importance to the cleansing. Oh, Floronic. I still never heard of them either. Foods which have a dissolving, flushing, and neutralizing action upon the poisons of the body. So what foods is he recommending during elimination? That's... So, for example, cabbage and apples decrease the secretions and are especially good foods for fat people. I mean, there are reasons why cabbage and apples are good for you, but whereas watermelon and peaches increase the secretions and are very good for thin people. I mean, if you're eating whole foods like cabbage, apples, watermelon, and peaches, and avoiding processed foods like sweets and store-bought, prepackaged things, ultimately going to be good for you. So, I mean, cabbage and apples, yes, those are good for fat people. And watermelon and peaches are good for thin people. But watermelon and peaches are also good for fat people, and cabbage and apples are also good for thin people. So, you know, nursing mothers should not eat any vegetables belonging to the cabbage family. They tend to lessen the secretions and stop the formation of milk. That I would be very curious to know. Do vegetables from the cabbage family actually decrease milk production in lactating mothers? That would be something that we should have some like biological resource that would let us know if that is in fact a fact. but that would be so cabbage and Brussels sprouts, and I'm not sure what else is in the cabbage family. I know cabbage and Brussels sprouts for sure. Possibly kale, but I don't know. Anyway, during elimination, we use especially the number 6 foods, or foods containing the number 6 chemicals, such as sulfur, iron, oxygen, and manganese. Some of us probably remember that our grandmothers used to give us sulfur and molasses in the spring. Our grandmothers intuitively knew that springtime was house cleaning time for the body. Many people to this day drink certain kinds of teas. Here in America, sassafras tea is very popular. Well, I mean, it used to be. In the 1920s, it probably was. Sassafras tea, less popular today. Much good is derived from such old-fashioned remedies, but when we understand food chemistry, we know that all these elements which the body requires are contained in natural foods. The best eliminating foods obtainable are fresh acid fruits, lemons, limes, grapefruits, and oranges. These grow only where there is much warmth and sunshine. They are all tree foods and are the highest life-giving foods, or contain the most potent life-giving chemicals to be found. These fruits are constantly exposed to the radiance of the sun and are rightly called concentrated sunshine. Sorry, that just sounds like a marketing slogan. Because they contain a great deal of hydrogen, thus this being the God chemical. Wait, when did hydrogen become the God chemical? Well may it be said of citrus fruits that it is God growing on trees. Apparently, we indeed are joining a cult that worships citrus fruits. Broccoli, cauliflower, and kohlrabi. Okay. Alongside cabbage and Brussels sprouts. Aren't those all good sources of calcium and actually good during nursing? See, I don't know, Adventures of Tony, but some of the cabbage family might make them gassy, but that's about it. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are many people who still believe that acid fruits create acidity in the body. That is not so. Well, I'm just going to say, when you have conditions that deal with stomach acid, the doctors tell you to avoid acidic fruits, and that includes a lot of those things that you're saying don't create acid problems. There's much work to be done by food scientists enlightening people as to the true action of fresh acid fruits. When individuals are very toxic, if they start with 1 or 2 lemons, or even with oranges, they become upset and have an acid taste in the mouth, and the stomach is disturbed. At once, they jump to the conclusion that acid fruit does not agree with them and that it has caused the acid. This is not true. The acid condition has probably been there for years, and the introduction of 1 or 2 acid fruits has stirred up the old poisons, bringing about an unpleasant taste and at times soreness in the stomach. If fruits are eliminated from the menus at this time, the toxic and sick condition will remain and old age is invited. Oh boy. According to the bump, 3 herbs are what's known as antigalactagogues, meaning that in high doses they've been known to decrease milk production. Peppermint, parsley, and sage. Not anything from the cabbage family. I find this fascinating. It has so much, like, there's so much actual, so many, real steps toward actual nutrition, real, actual work that needs to be done if one is going to do chemical analysis for legitimate, food nutrition work. And then it just goes off in some strange direction, like I don't know. Like the basis is there where it could have gone into actual like nutrition science, but instead it veers off into this weird culty eugenics area. It's just fascinating. And there are 4 more books like this one in here. Facial rejuvenation through 1-minute gymnastiques. The Master Bodybuilding System. The New Health Cookery. And Reduce and Rejuvenate, the New Way. The Pound-a-Day Reducing System. And then getting past that, there are broadsides and yeah, stuff of that nature. I had fun today. And since we didn't look at everything, I may bring this one back sometime in the future and we'll look at some more of the books. You feel like you've just gone down a TikTok rabbit hole of terrible advice. Hi, Consilience. It won't be right away. Like I'm not, but maybe next year I'll pull out this collection again and we will look at some more of the books because I find them fascinating and I had a lot of fun doing it. So, but we are at the point where I do need to actually like start figuring out where we're gonna raid and yeah. So it was a hoot. I'm glad it was enjoyable. The more you're convinced that humans are humans and everything that is old will be new again someday. Yeah. Someday. Wait, that's not exactly the right thing, but it worked just fine. Let me see where we might go. And before we actually leave, let's see. Apparently, let's see. We do have the Monterey Bay Aquarium. There's also the Tech Society. There's more washing happening on Stephen Joy's channel. So those are possible. It was a thing. Yeah, definitely going to see these nutritional tips on Instagram someday. Oh dear. What's funny is I could grab this thing. I'm now tempted to take this graphic and turn it into a button. We have buttons in special collections. I'm tempted. Oh gosh, and the Whimsies just arrived. Hello, League of Whimsy. Hello, Eric. I hope that the rest of your stream went well. Hi, welcome everybody. I am Rogan27, as you would know me on the channel that you just rated in on. And yes, if anybody was here, and if anyone's here who was not already following 16 Today, you definitely should give Eric a follow. Wonderful, wonderful streamer, wonderful community. This is a show called Archival Adventures. I am the Community Collections Archivist here at Virginia Tech, and once a week, we dive into the archives and look at materials. Today, we were looking at the Hauser Institute of New York City collection, and I can just switch here and show you. The last thing we were looking at was something called the Eliminative Feeding System, where this person, Bengamin Gaylord Hauser, and his chemical man, tried to convince people that a fad diet of preferring certain foods in order to eliminate disease from the system was a good idea. Medical professionals of the time called it quackery. And it was interesting. It was based on like a lot of nutrition science, like the bones are there, and then it moves off towards strange culty weirdness of very like eugenics type things. Quite interesting. So we were just looking at that, and prior to that we looked at Chemicanalysis of types and temperaments with key to foods, which was all about the different types of people. Those different types being calcium man, potassium man, phosphorus man, sodium man, chlorine man, silicon man, oxygen man, nitrogen man, carbon man, hydrogen man, and sulfur man. And what was unique about each of those different types, and discussion of the 16 chemicals that make up the human body, when historically there used to be, what was it, 38 that he claimed? I definitely had mad scientist voice for part of this. And some Iron Man jokes and some Particle Man, they might be giants. Yeah. Hi, Thorkel. But we're actually over time, and I was actively looking for who we were going to raid. But this is all going to be in the VOD, and we had a great time looking at it. I was saying, because this was so much fun and interesting and just fascinating to look at this sort of fad diet stuff from the 1920s, there's a good chance that I will pull this collection back out again sometime next year, and we will look at some of the 4 other books of this type that are in the collection. You vote for Stephen, but you always vote for Stephen. The Chemical Man is a comic book supervillain, indeed. You know, Stephen always has a good chill stream. Today is Power Wash Simulator. It looks like Spider Crab Cam at the aquarium. However, I think we might go show some support for the Good Time Society today. They're doing a 12-hour streamathon studio launch party. That sounds fun. And Good Time Society is full of awesome, good people. So we could go say hello over there. But thank you once again so much for the stream, Eric. I really do appreciate it. I have to pack up a bunch of stuff so that I can head home, though. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw... Oh, what? Unable to raid Good Time Society. Why not? Huh. Well, one of the channels will not do it. So we're doing a split raid today because I got the raids going, and they are not going to the same locations. Those on the Rogan 27 channel, say hello to the people over at Good Time Society for their 12-hour studio launch party stream. It's a wonderful channel, and I hope that you all have a great time over there. Anybody who's on the VTUL Studios channel, have fun with the Spider Crab Cam. I don't know why. They may have rules set up over at Good Time Society that prevented raiding from that channel. But I had already started the one when I discovered the other one wasn't going to work. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that this was fun for you. coming up next week, I have the records of the Office of the Virginia Tech Recycling Coordinator, Larry Bechtel, in honor of Earth Day. And so they are actually some interesting things in there. But thank you all so much, and I hope you keep exploring history.